Yesterday, I said that I was going to publish the Joe Walsh drummer story as told to me by Jimi Jamison. Jimmy was the fourth of over 70 Memphis musicians that I interviewed, and starting with Jimmy's interview, I asked every one of them to tell me a story. Here's what Jimmy had to say.
Once upon a time in Memphis, there was this famous guitar player that moved to town by the name of Joe Walsh.
Oh, yeah.
And he gave me a call up actually, and I met him over at a Kiva studio at the time. It was owned by Gary Bells. So Joe and I started hanging out and writing songs, and we're going to put a band together. So we were sitting over at his house one night, and he said, "Let's take a break and go down to Alfred's and listen to the Willies, and sit in with the Willies." So I said, "Okay." So we went down to Beale Street and went to Alfred's. They were playing, kicking butt, and playing really loud, man. So Joe, we walk in the door, Joe immediately jumps up on stage and grabs a guitar and starts playing. I walked back to the bar and got a drink and was standing about middle of the room, midway from the back of the bar to the stage. And the band was, like I said, was playing pretty darn loud. You couldn't carry on a regular conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just standing there, and all of a sudden this guy walks up to me with this long coat and this kind of British-looking hat that buttons in the front,
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Hey, Jimmy, I'm Joe's drummer. I'm a big fan of yours." I said, "You're what?" He said, "I'm Joe's drummer." I said, "Man, yeah, you're not Joe's drummer." He said, "No, seriously, I am." I said, "Bullshit. You are not Joe's drummer." He said, "No, I am. I really am." And I said, "Man, look, I know Joe. I came down here with Joe. You're not Joe's drummer." He said, he's telling me a couple more times, and he finally just gave up and shook his head and walked off. And so I was standing, I said, "God, unbelievable." And so they stopped playing, and Rob Cottle comes off the stage, who was the bass player for the Willies, and a few minutes later runs up to me and grabs me and says, "Man, what did you say to that guy?" I said, "Dude, he said he was Joe's drummer, and I told him he was full of crap." And Rob busted out laughing. He said, "No, he said he was Joe Strummer from The Clash." I said, "Oh, no." I'm embarrassed. I was totally embarrassed. So I looked around for the guy. I never could find him, to apologize or anything. So, and he dies on me. And I'm trying to get in touch with his band members to tell them about it because, he probably went to him and said, "Jamison's an asshole, man." Joe was drummer. True story. Totally, I have witnesses.
Is that when Sean Lane was playing with the Willies?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sean Lane, a genius.
Mm-hmm.
A genius. He come over to my house, my little studio, and I called him up and said, "Sean, man, would you come play this solo?" And I knew, take a second. So he comes in and he sits on the couch and he kind of lays into it, And I started playing it. He didn't even listen to it. He just plays solo. I said, "Unreal." He said, let me try it again." I said, "Are you crazy?" But, first take with Sean is better than anybody else,
Right.
I really miss him. He was
incredible. He was at the Target reunion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Did some Hendrix.
Yeah, exactly. Without a whammy bar or anything, and just played it better than Hendrix. He did. I'm not kidding you.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hendrix never played that solo all the way through like that one time after the recording because it was glued together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I first met Sean. Target judged Battle of the Bands at the Overton Park show.
Mm-hmm.
And after I heard Sean play, I said, "Well, guys, that's it for me." They won that, and so I first met Sean.
Yeah, he was really good. He played with Black Oak when he was 14 years old.
Yeah.
I talked to a friend of mine who worked at Yarborough's Music. And Sean came in and never played a keyboard, and he just started playing around with it.
Oh, he was a better keyboard player than he was a guitar player.
Yeah. And he just he played for a few minutes. He goes, "Okay, I got it," and then he just started playing songs.
Right.
He's just he was a genius. So you got any other Joe Walsh stories?
Yeah, I have one that I can't tell it.
Oh, really? That good?
Yeah, that good.
Well, did y'all form a band or?
We were going to with Stuart Copeland on drums, and Joe called me up one day and said, "Hey," he says, "You know how he talk? Hey, Jimmy, Henley just called me.
Uh-oh.
And they want me to come back to the band." you know, they paid him a ton of money, and I said, dude, well, you know, what can I say? You know, do it. You know, you got to do it. You're going to do it. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they paid him a ton of money just initially, and now look at him.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing great.
Mm-hmm. I got to ask you that, and I absolutely love this. When I was catching up on your career, I went to YouTube. I stumbled on a Starbucks commercial.
Lord, forgive me.
That was so cool. That was such a great commercial. So if you haven't seen the commercial, go to YouTube and Google Starbucks commercial, Survivor or Jimi Jamison, and it'll pop up, and it's so good. I think
it was very funny.
I respect anybody that can poke fun at themselves, and that's what y'all did.
If you can't make fun of yourself,
somebody else will.